Yeah.
So you can have her have a seat, and you can take a few pictures here. You can go in the back and take a few if you feel like it.
A little more on the left.
Okay, there's no weight on this.
Okay, so it's 4 bars, and then I'll give you the other there's 2 other spots.
You want to go? I'm sorry. Intro for 4 bars.
Get me in, bar 5. I'm gonna say they play for 4 bars, then I come and give me 4 bars. And
Okay.
I'm gonna take it from the top.
Sorry, what?
I'll take it from the top.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Good, okay, that's fine. Okay, go to.
I don't look too smart.
Come on, man. Musicians are intelligent. What are you talking about?
Sure, you got some sense. Good.
Where you coming from, Red? Yes, you know where you want to go to CalArts?
You serious? Of it like a year, so it's a lot, but like CalArts is expensive.
appreciate opportunities.
Jones Foundation Scholarship.
Yeah.
They got to open the RDJF.
That's it.
They also get monetary
We got good
support
parents. I'm a nail.
Okay, the secret is look straight ahead. Gigi, I can't see your eyeballs. Gigi, you're the mystery girl?
You're that's correct. And what do you play again? Bass. Right, okay. And in college, you play? Guitar. Okay. Probably almost immediately, I started my own top 40 band, and we played songs from the radio, and we started doing little talent shows and stuff. People liked us, so parents and friends started supporting us, going to competition for these talent shows, and then we started booking a few gigs, some weddings, proms, gigs. So by the time I was 17, we owned our own equipment and we owned our own van, and we were working pretty steadily almost every weekend. At 17, as a math scholarship to UCLA, and I went to UCLA for math for a couple of years at 17. And by the time I was 19, I went on a tour with Gladys Knight and Pips. So I was 19, so happened pretty fast. I don't know if it happened that fast, really. Looking back on it now, because I didn't think about it.
What was when you started playing with Gladys Knight? How did you get that gig? Was it just like you were playing over here on Sunset and someone saw you playing and asked you, "Hey, we'd like you to come play," or was it?
I played bass. I could read. My first instrument was flute and clarinet, bass clarinet, because they didn't have any instruments when I went to high school. By the time I transferred to high school, I went to Bandy, I went to Jeff, I went to Bandy, and the only thing that left was flute and bass clarinet. So I was trying to figure out how to get out of gym, and that was seemed to be a pretty easy way. And but I didn't realize I had to blow my brains out with the flute trying to be heard in the marching band. So, but I could read, so I was playing with about 6 different big bands at the time in town. So that's about, roughly about 17 guys that know you can play.
Yeah.
And people start word of mouth. People say, "Hey, check this dude out. Hey, check this dude out. He shows up on time. He can read." The guy. So I started auditioning, and then I met a young bass player from San Diego named Nathan East, and he was new to town. So I took a lesson from him. He started recommending me for jobs and subbing for him, and he did a record date with Gladys Knight, and they told him that they were looking. They fired the bass player, so they asked him to do that weekend. He did that weekend, and then they couldn't afford him. He recommended me, and they called and said the flight leaves this weekend, 3 gigs, and you get the music when you get there, all the musicians. And I'd never been on a plane, and I didn't. So you need a tuxedo. So I didn't have a tuxedo, and I didn't have any black shoes. So I had about $30. So I went to the thrift store, and I found a black suit, black tuxedo, and it was $5. And I got these. Many of you guys know anything about Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those Bruce Lee little black shoes with the red bumps up. So I got those, and then the tuxedo shirt was I bought 2 because we had 3 gigs. I figured and they were $1 a piece. So I was rolling. Then I had to buy luggage, and I bought some luggage for about $10. And I still had money left. I was rolling in the dough. So that's how I got the gig, and then I I worked really hard, and I stayed on the gig. And I ended up doing Nathan in the same way. Took flying. He was learning to be a pilot, so he was doing the record. But at nighttime he had to go and fly. So he said, they said, well, who's going to do it? And so they should let Ricky do it. He can do it. And so that was my first big recording session. Was with them. Album was called Save the Overtime. Visions was the name of the album. But it had a bunch of songs done. It was like 1980. By then, it's like 81, 82. Something.
Did you say you went to school to study math? Why didn't you go for music?
I got a full scholarship. I'm a numbers guy. Like before cell phones or anything. Even now, I can remember numbers because I see them as a block of numbers. So with formulas. So by the time I was in the 3rd grade, I was taking computer classes at LA City College. And I kind of breezed through all the math, algebra and geometry and trig and calculus. By the time I was in 11th grade, I finished everything that LA Unified. So I started taking extension courses at UCLA. So it was a natural for me to go to UCLA.
Did you finish, or you just went into?
I left to play music.
Okay.
My grades were good stuff, but the opportunity, and I love playing music, and I really love math. I mean, that's probably why, on the business side, because it's not common that musicians are wired in a way that they have the creativity thing, and then they have the business side. So I, early on, even with my band, I was a leader of the band, so I figured out how we could get a salary every week, because the band was working all the time, but why should we just all get the money and go and party? So my uncle helped manage us, and he was in computers as well, and in a matter of a couple of years, we've managed to buy our own van. Everyone if you play drums, you got a new drum set. Singer got a brand new mic. The horn players got Stradivarius trumpet, and everyone got new instruments. And we had our own business playing stuff. And so we had our own company credit card. And I was, 16, 17. So it's the business side, and I think that enabled me to think on a broader scale, because playing an instrument is great, but if I'm not in charge of my destiny, then I'm waiting for someone to say, hey, you're good enough, let me hire you. And then if somebody else comes in town and I like the way he plays bass better than her, and she's not serious about it. Maybe she's serious, it's just not the style I'm looking for. I'm looking for a jazz bass player, an upright bass player, and you just play electric. So now you've cut your work shorter. Then it's like, oh, well, I need a rock bass player. Oh, well, no, I just play funk. Wait, I need somebody country. Oh, I just play funk. And so your ability to work, you're kind of cutting that off. The other part of it is just, understanding budgets and understanding the financial part of it, of what it takes to really be successful. I mean, I started when I was younger, when I first started making a little money, where no matter how much I made, I paid myself every week the same amount. So I paid myself $500 a week, and if I couldn't afford something, I'd have to wait till next week. And some weeks I didn't spend the whole $500, and that was 30 years ago, and I still do that. I still pay myself $500. So therefore, I don't really have to worry about if I want to buy an apple. I don't have to go and say, well, how much is that apple? And I don't know if I could do it this week. So I'm comfortable, so I think about the long-term effects. And if I have, like my rent, when Corny met me in my place, the back house, my rent was $100 a month. So I figured if I could, so I always
and now it's like $800.
But it was in Watts. It was right on Elm Street, Firestone. I mean, and so between you know, sometimes I could practice between gunshots and be right in time, you know. And so it was my equipment. You know, my place got broken into several times. My equipment got stolen. They never stole my bass because they like me. But you know, I mean, you know, and I told them when times got hard, they just like, hey, sorry man, but you know, needed that jacket, another jacket, and your stereo. They stole my stereo. They left my albums, but they stole stereo because they know that these are my records. Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, they would help me pack, you know, unpack my stuff and put it in, and you know, pack it up. I guess that way they knew exactly where the amp was. But the whole place was like this big, right where we're sitting. The whole place, the living room, a little bed, a little tiny bed, and my little heater, space heater, and I was rolling like it's my place, so I could practice. You know.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, space.
When you say pay yourself 500, that means for you to spend 500. To this day.
Yeah.
Just a budget.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have been able to build a studio if I spent all the money I make. You know, I wouldn't be able to build that studio from scratch. It was just a brick building.
Yeah.
So you got to plan for the future. Don't expect the future to just happen. You got to plan. And so I'm pretty good at staying on task. If I plan something, if I work hard towards something, then. But you have to take risks. But they have to be calculated risks. I mean, you can't just go, I'm going to be a musician if it kills me, because it probably will kill you. You know, if with that mentality is that you're talented in a lot of areas. So I play music, I arrange music, I produce music, but you know, I mean, I work with a lot of artists. I work with Beyonce, Usher, Christina. Worked with Whitney Houston for 30 years. When I was doing that, when I was doing after Gladys, I did Dreamgirls that played here in town, and I did a showcase for a young girl trying to get a record deal. I was 22. That was Whitney Houston. She was 18. So I work with her. I work with Miley Cyrus. You know, I just put together her tour.
That's cool. I think that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Well,
so besides being a musician, do you also, so like you said, you're a producer, you arrange music, and the business side, like Miley Cyrus, you put together things for other people?
yeah.
So it's just always constant hustling to do other things besides playing?
I've been, like I said, started 14 years old. I'm 54 now. And for 40 years, I've never been unemployed. I've never not had work. If anything, there's like 4 or 5 multiple jobs happening at the same time. And so I've been music director for the Grammys for years, Super Bowl for years, 9 years Super Bowl, Grammys. I probably played on my first time playing the Grammys was 1982, first time, and the last time was last year. So between that, maybe 20 years of playing the Grammys or being music director for 7 years, and American Idol 6 years, and then started back now this year, Tonight Show 4 years, and all between that, I mean, even with Whitney all those years, I've worked with everybody, you know, and from Ray Charles and Stevie, and it'd be hard for me to think about someone I haven't worked with that I want to at least, you know, but a lot of the pop artists now, you know, Pink, Maroon 5, Kings of Leon, you know, the point of all that is that the only reason any of that happened is because I was ready. You know, so I never profess to be the best musician or the best. I don't even really care about being the best or the baddest, because that's kind of crazy. Because that's kind of in your head that I'm the best or the baddest. The thing is that, but one thing for sure, there's no one that's going to outwork me. Just not going to do it. That's not going to do it. You know, so I'm going to be the best me, whether I'm better than someone else. I mean, who cares? You know, but I'm going to be the best me, and that's good enough. So the best you is good enough. But the average you, it's not so good. The you that's a little lazy and, you know, practice when you want to, or, you know, I'm going to hang out. So if you want to be taken serious, you can't go out on that football field for a Super Bowl game and you've just been hanging out. Like, you're not even in good condition. So whatever job you want to do, you've got to be the best at it. And even the best doesn't necessarily mean you get the job. The job goes most times to the person who's willing to work the hardest, make the most sacrifices. I'm working 7 days a week right now since December, and I'll work that till June. 7 days, every day. 7. Exercise, eat right, drink a lot of water, stay focused, you know, and really be able to contribute. Because your job, and I tell these guys, the job is pretty easy. Your job is to add value. If you're not adding value, then you're not doing your job. You're not making a difference. You know, you came, left, and came back. They didn't even know you left because nothing changed when you weren't there. It was a vacant seat, but they didn't even realize it because you weren't adding to it. You know, and I don't mean take over, but your presence should be missed. Like I miss that person's personality, what they add musically to it. You know, but there's a lot of music. Now I didn't touch on film and TV.
Yeah.
Because there's another side to it. I mean, there's a playing part if you're a jazz musician, and I've played, with Al Jarreau, with Herbie, and there's a certain skill set. I mean, I work hard, but if I know I'm doing something with Herbie, there's a different kind of shedding that happens. It's just like if you're a runner, then you have to get your stamina. You're going to run the marathon, then you got to train. Now, I will pass on a job before I go in and not be great. Like if I know that I don't have enough time to really share, like I'm doing a record tomorrow with the big band here at Ocean Way, right across the hall from me. And I've been playing with the band a little bit, and we've done a few gigs. I've been shedding every night. Like if I didn't think I got a chance to really, and I play every day. I mean, I play every day. I play, but it's another skill. So we've been doing gigs every Wednesday night for the last 3 weeks to just kind of get the band back kind of feeling good. But Gary Novak's playing. You know him? Yeah, he's a really good drummer. He played with Chick Corea, and he played with Patachuchi.
John Patachuchi.
Yeah, but anyway though, but the film, TV film side of it. So in scoring film, that's another skill set. I've done a lot of TV sitcoms where I provide music for the TV show or TV special theme song for, like, say, Queen Latifah talk show or Steve Harvey talk show or a live concert or radio, and that's a different way to get paid. If you write and learn to program and depending on how fast you are doing that. But there's a saxophone player that works with me, and he's really quick, efficient in computers and Pro Tools, and knowing how to replicate or create a sound or sound design. So, like, say for Miley's tour, I put the band together, and that's casting. You're looking for both. You're looking for, I want a girl drummer. I want a rock and roll guitar player, guy that kind of looks like rock. I auditioned for Lionel Richie, and they hired the bass player. They didn't hire him for playing. They hired him because he was tall, had a nice fade and a little top thing, so he had a look. Because this is a visual art too. I mean, if you're recording, that's one thing. You're in the studio, you're recording. No one ever sees you just sing or play your butt off. But if you're on stage, a lot of time the TV people are saying, hey, we want someone that looks like this, that's this tall, and age. I put together shows for, like, High School Musical. They want people 20 years old, 20 or younger, and able to play. So there's a lot of that. But after putting together Miley's tour, the music part of it, there's also all the sound design. So I'm responsible for everything sound. So every opening piece, every sound effect, if there's a match lit on the screen, video, then you got to hear that. Right.
Yeah.
And when the singers are snapping their fingers, you got to hear that. I mean, and I've done it for a lot of artists. I mean, it's sound design. If the guys are, you know, I have to videotape the whole choreography. So if the guys are doing something and stomping with their feet, you got to hear that. And 20,000 people are not going to hear this. So we have to go into a sound studio and record it. It's called Foley and film. And so they have to go in, like if you see someone being a chase scene in a movie, they have to go back and re-record all of that inside a Foley studio where they're able to create. And what they do, if someone's walking on leaves, like you know, and they're running through leaves, they take lettuce with the hand and they eat it. You know, I mean, so it's all of these tools that they use to create. Again, it's a very creative type of job. It involves sound. It doesn't involve playing your instrument, but it involves sound.
I'm curious. You talk about scoring like movies and TV shows and stuff, and you also said you were really good with numbers. One of the things I'm taking at Cal Arts is music theory, with you know all the voice lead rules and all the different kinds of you know chords and the theory behind you know Western music. Is any of that? Did you take any of that? Did it come in handy? And was it useful?
I think everything that you learn is useful. When you use it, you don't know. But knowledge is power. The more you know, you don't know when you're going to need it. Like I took probability and statistics. And so, right, so I was like, why do I need to know how much rice they're going to eat in China this year based on last year's crops? And did it ever come to play? I don't know, but I know it. I knew it that year, and I know how to calculate that. So, I think reading. I don't watch TV. I'm on TV a lot, but I never watch it because there's so much to do, so much knowledge to understand. So, I do like quiet time. I shut my phone off for days at a time, and I just leave it at home, and I go out of town. And people say I was trying to reach you, well, I wasn't, you know. So I am on Facebook and Twitter stuff, but I don't go. I'm not sitting there every day seeing who's. No, I use it for a social network, which is important. But the sound thing is really important because you can find yourself working in Foley and working in sound and creating sound and even creating a music library that people can get sounds from that you've created that you can license. And that's making money. So there are ways to make money and not have to physically be there. And those are option things to really look at. And from a songwriting aspect or publishing, I mean, for the TV shows that I do, I write the theme songs and bumpers and all that stuff. And that's a source of revenue that comes every quarter. You know, 4 times a year, every quarter that you get a publishing check. Every quarter from the records you play on, you get once a year, you get a check based on the revenue, a percentage of the revenue, where the songs were either played on the radio or used for something else. I mean, Paul is probably one of the most recorded guitarists in the world. So I've never seen his check for thing, but I'm certain he's got to have an armored truck when he comes because he's played on a lot of records. Another question?
Who was your biggest musical influence?
Chris, what was your question again?
Who was your biggest musical influence? Or influences?
I have to say, probably music genre, jazz. You know, when I started playing, I took lessons from a trumpet player, and he taught me music theory and all that. By the way, you asked about the math thing, the numbers thing. My landlord in college, the apartment I stayed in, was a composer by numbers. He didn't play any instruments. He just composed with numbers.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, well, the matrices.
Right.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. So, I never really liked anything he played for me, but it looked pretty though. The numbers, because it was by numbers and in colors. So, yeah, I never really. I don't know how how that sounds. Yeah, I would say jazz because the structure, yet there's freedom, you know, and at a certain level, like say Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter, they speak a whole nother language, kind of a Martian language when they communicate, you know. They don't use ordinary words. They just
Wayne especially.
Yeah,
Shorter
yeah,
especially.
it's just but it's music from the heart and soul. So and it's you know it's one of America's true jazz, true art form. You know, jazz is. And I actually like reading all the biographies of all the guys. Like I've read I don't know how many hundreds, you know. And yeah, so it definitely influences me. But at the same time, if I'm playing country, if I'm playing with Faith Hill, you wouldn't even know I ever even heard a jazz record because I'm not going to use all my influences on that genre. You know, the last thing we played, Straight Ahead, didn't require me to do anything flashy. You know, you just stay in your lane, do what the job calls for, and people respect you for that. You know.
As far as,
Any other questions?
as far as getting,
Go ahead.
as far as getting the business side down packed, did you do like a lot of reading, like books, or did you take classes for it, or was it just
Something means you were
your
always
basic?
numbers.
Yeah.
There's a couple of books I like. One's called The Art of Negotiation, and the thing about negotiating a deal, everyone has to feel like they're winning. So if you go to buy a house and you're selling your house for $100,000 and I offer you $70,000, so now it's too low. So you counter offer. So that's the thing, and you have to know everyone has to win. So even with the TV shows, they have this number in mind, and you have this number in mind. But they really have this much money. But they're going to hit you here, and you're going to overshoot. And the trick is to not overshoot so high where they go, no.
You don't want
Next.
to play. Yeah.
Yeah, they go, well, you know, like I've had people come in and say, well, they said, well, the gig's only paying $1,000. And you say, well, I usually charge 15. So, because you don't know whether they say, okay, well then we like you enough, we'll find a way to pay you your $1,500. Or you could say, my normal rate is 15, but I'll do this one for you for 1,000. Then after that, I can't ever do it again for 1,000, but I'll do this one. And so you're finding a way. So now they go, oh, and then they can say, hey, I got him for 1,000. I got him down, because he's really normally expensive. But at the same time, it depends. Now, say you come to me, you say, well, look, I know you cost a lot more, and we only have 1,000, and we know that you charge 10,000. So now we're like really far apart. So depending on what it is, and if I want to do it, if I can, then I said, look, I'll do it for free. Just pay the guys, pay the band their fee. I'll do it for free. Just one time, if I want to do it. But saving those that $500 a week and saving that money made it so I'm able to say I can do things for free because I don't really need the money. I mean, I could always use more money. I mean, it's not like that. It's not like I got like a big bag full of money just stacked and I'm like, oh, bring me $1 million. Bring me $1 million. Yeah, I want to burn it right here. I don't need it. I just want to burn it. You know, it's not like that. But
stacks in the fire.
Yeah. But at the same time, you make the relationships happen, and people remember that. You know, and so people like Steven Spielberg, where I did something for him for his foundation for free, and they remember that. You know, and then they get something to go, hey, I got something doing, and Ricky be great at it. Plus, I own it. You know, it's not a bad thing to have people owe you in this town. You know, because then you can cash on it when it's time.
How do you usually set your price, like for yourself?
Well, part of it, you have the union, you know, for union stuff. The recording sessions are generally, scale payment is about $400 for a 3-hour session. Or you can make your own deal and charge per song. Whatever works out better for you. You can say per song, per session. This level of musicianship is double scale. So they're a little over $800 for a 3-hour session. Or they could be double scale per song. You know? Depending on what the budget calls for. So if you're double scale, you're going per song, and you do like we're doing 10 songs in a day, not a bad day. You can still pay yourself the $500 a week. So you can negotiate from that side of it, but you won't be paid lower than scale if you do scale, you know, if you do union sessions. After a while, when you do sessions that aren't union, you're trying to get, you know, I'll do a session for a friend, but and the union is so that I joined the union in '79. The union is so that there are rules and bylaws and the union, you have to pay 3% work dues to the union. So if I do a job and it goes and it's a union television show, and you can't do TV without being a union. So if it's a union TV show and it's $10,000, well, then the union gets, you know, 3%, $300 from that check, and you have to write a check. So depending on how much money you make, that keeps the union going. But they fight for downloads, and now, you know, it's a different digital platform. But those all of the contracts are negotiated and renegotiated with the union. Then there's the outside of the union stuff, and I think it's like for me, like as music director, I talked to a few guys. A lot of guys helped me in where to start because I was new at it, so I didn't want to price myself out and just jump in there and start quoting like Whitney fees, because they weren't paying Whitney fees. This is TV, and so I started basing it on my time. And I should get back to it. I started basing it on my time. What's my time worth? So if my time's worth $50 an hour, what is it worth? And then what they can afford. So in the beginning, I would go in under, because you got to prove yourself that you're really valuable, and then leave. When you've learned all you can from a particular job, leave. I've learned. Thank you very much. I'm going to try something and try to push myself to be higher. And if they say, whoa, hey, hold on. You're worth a lot more here. What if we double your salary? And you say, okay, but that's fine. Let's do that for 6 months and then see if you're still happy, and if I'm still happy here, or a year, whatever the contract is. And then you get ready to leave and say, whoa. We're going to make you the vice president. How about that? You know, all right, I'll stay another year. You know,
Yeah.
hey, you want to buy our company? You know, you're running it well. Then you go, hey, okay, I'll sell it to you, and they'll say, you know, and then you'll say, I want to buy the company. So I mean, you know, you work your way up. You work hard, and people notice. They're going to notice you, by the way. Don't worry about not being noticed. They're going to remember you. They'll either remember you as the person who worked hard, or the person who didn't quite work so hard. They'll remember you. Don't worry about like, well, I just want to make an impression. You're making an impression every day. Everything you do matters. Everything. Contributing to your household, helping cleaning up, doing what you can to help. It matters. All of it matters. You matter.
Belinda, can we get one question from you?
Oh, sure.
No. See, negotiate. Okay, well, I'll give you a half a question.
Half a question.
I was
That's
gonna
good.
say, can we all get a free lunch? I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's on the way.
It's a joke. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I was joking. No, I was gonna ask you in terms of, well, first of all, this is so profound. Them having the opportunity to sit with you today
Yeah, thank you.
and share this valuable, oh my goodness, such valuable information from the heart because we can see you care.
Yeah.
What would you say for them to know about the value of mentorship and networking? How would you say that is in terms of like the value of it as they move forward? Even
Well,
like networking amongst themselves and things like that.
Yeah, I don't know much about networking, probably because I never really did it. I was too busy working, and I think that, you know, like I never really had a card, a business card, but this is a different time. So I guess it's really important. I'm not certain how much, because I know a lot of people who are quote unquote out networking all the time when actually you should be practicing, because if I did hire you right now, you're not really ready. But you're networking and everybody knows you, you're always on the scene and people always see you. But I kind of have this thing about when you're ready, then it'll find its way to you because you're now ready. So nothing really takes the place of working hard. But I will say the mentorship is find people. And people are always willing to help, just like you guys are willing to help someone. You know, find someone that'll give you some time, and then take that information and go and work hard. Then come back and go, okay, I did it. Here it is. Okay, good. Now go and do this. All right, I'll be right back. And however long it takes me to learn how to do that, okay, you told me to learn how to read. Okay, now I can read. Okay, now you told me to listen to this. Okay, I did that. Now what do I do? So people will give you advice. Doesn't mean that all the advice they give you is valid for you, because the advice and everything is like a platter of food. Like, I don't really like broccoli, so I think I'm going to have this. And so they're just giving you their thoughts and their advice. You've got to pick and go, this applies to me, I can use this knowledge. This doesn't really apply to me because I'm actually not interested in country music. Although the discipline, I could use that discipline. And maybe I learned a trumpet solo. Like, I mean, I transcribed a lot of solos over my career and still do. Saxophone solo, drum solo, good, yeah. I've done tons of Hank Mobley, Charlie Parker, Wynton Kelly. I mean, any musician, if I heard a solo I liked, then I transcribed it. And then I wrote it out for bass, and then I wrote it out for alto, and then I gave it to the guys and we read it, and they showed me all the stuff I wrote where I was out of the range of the saxophone because
you play bass.
Yeah. Well, but I didn't understand the range of that horn, so it made me learn more about where the range of the horn is, or for cello. And then I would read Bach cello suite, and read trombone duets, and read pieces for a trombone and piano, and I make things happen myself. Duet books for drums or bass or for bass or guitar. I'd read the bottom line and then I'd read the top line, and I'd transcribe it first to bass clef, and then I would sight read the bottom after I transcribed it. I'd sight read the top, I record it, then I play it back and sight read the bottom, while playing the other two. So you have to create things to challenge yourself, push yourself. You're it. Because if you're really looking for someone to help you, you're it. I mean, all the stuff I told you, it's 98% you, 2% me. And everyone else, 2% everyone else you need. I gotta get back to work, guys.
Yeah, people write a lot of music for guitar, they don't know how to write it. So because a lot of piano players write it and they don't know the range.
Yeah, they don't know the range. Or where it sounds like. I have to make the change.
We ready? Okay, come on, you guys got to start with the next. Anybody missing?
You got it ready.
All right, good, yo.
You guys look good.
Good shot.
That's the shot. Hold it right there.
Oh, God, you got too serious. Okay, V-Box, smile.
I ain't serious. You know me.
It's because you're not a thief. If you're a thief, you
The
know.
limit. She got something working.
I know.
If you were a thief, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having the media here today on the Sunset Gower lot. And we're here with Corny Mims, Program Director of the Roderick D. Jones Foundation, and Sandra Jones, the founder of the foundation. Tell us a little bit about what's going on here. And this is exciting, first of all.
Yes, it's very exciting, and I'm so glad to be here. We were invited by Mr. Ricky Minor, who is the music director for American Idol, and he was very gracious enough to do a little mentoring for our scholarship winners. Now, our winners were awarded monetary funds as well as an opportunity to be the opening act at the Gardena Jazz Festival, which was co-founded by my late brother, and he's the one that the foundation is named for. He was a community leader and mentor to youth, and so we thought this was a very fitting way to honor him, as he again was very committed to youth and he loved music, particularly jazz. And we have Mr. Cornelius Mims, renowned bass player and also a childhood friend of mine and my brother's. Corny?
Oh yeah, the Roderick D. Jones Foundation, I thought it was an incredibly noble thing for Sandra to initiate. Roderick and Sandra and I have known each other since we were in grade school. Roderick was an extremely close friend of mine through childhood and through adulthood as well. You know, so when Sandra told me that this was something that she wanted to do, it was just a perfectly natural fit for me to become involved with it. You know, the things that we're able to do for young music minds it reminds me of what I was privy to as a young person, and this allows me, this foundation and the job as program director allows me the opportunity to give back and sow into the young lives in a way that my life was sown into as a young person. And I just really am appreciative to Ricky Minor, Paul Jackson Jr., Wayne
Also a
Lindsay,
childhood friend.
Paul Jackson Jr., also American Idol and superstar guitarist, Wayne Lindsay, Kevin Ricard, Dave, oh my God.
Well, you know what?
All of the guys in the Idol band, you know, for just availing themselves and allowing us to come here and have this opportunity to see what it's all about, see how it's done, and to impart a little wisdom to our young people.
You know, the one thing that's unique about the Roderick D. Jones Foundation is that we don't just give scholarships. We provide, through Mr. Cornelius Mims, opportunities for our winners to actually play all over town. They have performed in some incredible venues, and they have had opportunities that a lot of young people, especially young musicians, just do not have, because we have access to these professionals through Mr. Mims, who has been, you know, superstar bass player for 30 years or more.
Well, give or take.
Okay. So, and again, we're so very grateful to Ricky Minor and the entire American Idol band for hosting us today. Very much appreciated.
And on behalf of the press, we thank you for inviting us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.